Hello! Today we are learning to play Young Jacob Marley. In Young Jacob Marley, you are a young moneylender, freshly employed by the up-and-coming Jacob Marley, with whom you would like to become longtime friends. And you're going to win this game by making the most money for him. The basic mechanics of the game revolve around loans. So a loan card has two basic numbers on the top. It has the principal, which is an amount of money that you lend to that client, and the interest, which is more money that comes onto that loan from the bank. It just becomes one stack of money, and then over time it pays back to you. That interest adds money to the money that you have, and so on until you get rich lending money to people who need it. The setup is pretty simple. Everyone starts with 10 pounds or more. I've got 10 because I'm going first, and then it's 11, 12, 13 for players in that order. Everyone gets two cards in their hand to start. This is just two secret loans that only you know about. And then we're going to set up 6 more on the board that these are in the open market. Everyone can buy these loans the same way. And every time I put a new loan on the market, I affect this board. This is the marketplace, and this represents the relative strength of 6 different kinds of loans: financial, industrial, shipping, criminal, aristocratic, and legal. We notice they happen to spell fiscal, so they're in that order. Every time I put a new loan here, it makes that category of loan better. This end of the board is the better end of the board, so the shipping is going to move up. Now, the way this board works is that no two chips can occupy the same column. So when shipping goes up, it pushes down whatever is in the same column. Shipping goes up, criminal goes down. We're going to do that 6 times. A goes up, so L goes down. For each card that comes out, I goes up, C goes down again. There's another legal loan, so that undoes that. There's another A loan, so that does that. And then another A. A can't go any higher, so it doesn't move, nothing moves. And this is just a sort of random setup. These chips are going to keep moving around throughout the game. What the chip's position in the loan means is twofold. First, there is the interest value at the bottom. This says that when you take a loan of that type, it pays +2 interest. That's because these borrowers are desperate right now, and so they're paying more. So if I took an F loan, it would pay its interest on the card +2 more because of its position in the marketplace. But the other number here is how fast it pays back. When the F loan pays me, it's only going to pay me 2. Instead of, if financial was very healthy, it would pay 7 pounds every time it pays out. So that's the gist of the marketplace board. Loans that are way down here are desperate. They pay great interest, but they pay very slowly. Some of them even pay 0. The loans that are at this end are not desperate at all. They're very healthy, and so they pay back quickly, but they don't pay a lot of interest. We can control this market as we play the game, and so we're going to manipulate it both to benefit ourselves and also hurt everyone else. We had already randomly determined that I'm going to go first. I'm going to set these pay cards in front of myself because they don't actually go into the game until everyone has had one turn. On your turn, you're basically going to buy loans. At the start of my turn, I'll look at all the loans I already have, which is none, and they will pay off. They will pay based on where they exist in the marketplace right now. After that, I can spend all the money that I have on buying whatever loans I want. I start with 10 pounds. Some of these are out of my price range. I do have a couple more in my hand, but let's take a look at the ones on the board. I'd like something that pays really good interest. Financial loans pay good interest. There aren't any. Criminal loans pay good interest. There aren't any right now. This industrial pays, well, nothing extra, and it's 12, which I can't afford. So I could take, wow, I don't have a lot of good choices. Maybe I will look at my hand. Nope, they're no good either. It's really not a good idea to pass. You always want your money working for you, and so I'm going to buy something even though there aren't a lot of good choices. I'm going to take this legal loan. It costs all of my money, 10 pounds. So that money just sits on the card. It also pays 4 interest, which means it's going to put 4 more from the bank on top of that 10 that I gave it. Now, Taylor, Nags, Groot, and Cruxley owe me 14 monies, which they will pay me back slowly over time. In the next step of my turn, I get the power to influence the market. I can make loans stronger or weaker, but only by as much as I currently have going on. So all of my outstanding loans give me power to move the market. I can move any type of loan that I have by an amount equal to all the loans that I have. What that means right now is that if I want, I could nudge L up or down by 1. I will nudge it up by 1 just to make it pay a little faster. And that's the end of my turn. Now between turns, I'm going to take a card off the deck and replace, so there's always 6 loans in the market. At the end of my turn, if there are still 6 cards here, I draw one of them into my hand. So if I had bought a loan from my hand, or if I had bought nothing, I would pick one of these up because we're trying to make sure that there's at least one new loan on the table every turn. The loan that I did add was a criminal. That's going to move criminal up by 1, and it's going to move I down by 1. Player 2. Player 2, it's got the same options that I did. There's no loans to pay. They have a $11 shipping contract in their hand. And they did start with $11, pounds, whatever these are. This is midday transport. Jeffrey, buy dollar, requires the sum of 11 pounds to allow his agents in Curacao to enjoy many delights demanded by local custom. 11 pounds from this player goes on the card, 4 more from the bank. Now, they played a card from their hand but took nothing from the marketplace, which means they have to draw, they get to draw one of these into their hand. A good one to draw and hold for later is probably one of these aristocrats. So he's going to pick up Howard Warhouse II. He has the option to adjust the board, and he will again move his only loan up, and that has the effect of shrinking aristocrats a little bit. And then a new card hits the board, which is shipping again, and moves shipping up once more, pushing legal down. This player started with 12 pounds, so they can actually buy this industrial loan. It has 4 interest on the card, but it's also paying +1 because of industrial's position in the marketplace. So that's going to be a total of 5. I'll drop a red chip on there for that 5. And that player can and probably should push I up by 1 to make it pay back a little better. Let's put a new card out. That's going to bump the aristocrat loans back up. Player 4 has 13 pounds, with which I think he's going to buy this financial loan out of his hand. That costs 12. It pays 4 plus 2 because financial is all the way down at the worst station on the board. So 6 more coins go onto that, 12 and 6, 18 coins are sitting on that. They have to draw a card. They will draw a little aristocrat too. That brings an L onto the board, improves L, shrinks A, and brings it back to me. Okay, everyone's had 1 turn. Now these pay cards are going to go into the deck. When one of these is dealt into the marketplace, it pays loans for everyone. And normally I pay only my loans at the start of my turn. These pay everyone. Half of them pay all the loans. The other half pay all the loans except for one type. So if I drew this one, everything except shipping gets paid. Everything except industrial gets paid. You may find yourself getting skipped when a very specific one of these exceptional pay cards comes out. These cards are also the timer for the game. There are 12 of them altogether. When 8 of them have come out, that is the end of the game. All right, I have loans this time, so my turn's going to start with paying my loans. It's a legal loan. I have to look at the board and see how much does legal pay right now. And because it's in this spot, it pays 4. So I take 4 pounds off that legal loan, and the rest stays on there. Over time, those will all come off, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. And when this is finally paid off, I just store it away because there's also bonuses for how many of each type you have finished by the end of the game. Those $4 aren't going to buy me very much, but they can buy me this criminal. So I'll spend these 4 to buy that criminal loan. I get 2 from the bank because of what the card says. But because criminal's down here in the toilet, I'm going to get 2 more. Now, that'll double my money over time, so I feel like that's a good investment. As long as it doesn't get pushed down to where it pays 0, that's all I can do. Here's a new card, and it's the first pay card. The pay card pays everybody's loans. So let's take a look at player 2. Shipping is paying 5 right now, so they take 5 off that loan. I is paying 3. F is paying only 2. That card paid everyone. We can only do that once per turn. So if I turned over another pay card, we would just set that aside, ignore it, and then shuffle it back in. But there's an A to come out into the marketplace, pushes A up, pushes L down, and it's this player's turn. Now you've seen most of the rules that there are. We're going to keep buying loans. We're trying to maximize our investments, try to keep our money active, and try to make the most money by the end of the game. The game is over when the 8th of these pay cards comes out, at which point we do one more pay, and then if you have loans sitting in front of you that did not pay off, you sell them for half, rounding down, of what is still owed to you. You sell them to collections. Now, you can do that anytime you want. So if you happen to have some money that you really want to recover right away, you can sell your loans to collections. That doesn't usually happen until the end of the game. So at the very end of the game, this criminal might have, well, it probably wouldn't still have this much money on it, but if it had $8 on it, I would keep 4, the other half would go away, and I wouldn't get to keep this as one of the cards that I had completed. The final scoring is a little bit of a reward for how many loans of each type each player has completed. And we go across the board like this. Whoever has the most in the F gets whatever F pays. So F pays 2 right now. Whoever has made the most criminal loans gets £1. Whoever has made the most industrial loans gets 3, and so on down the board. That money has to be split between people who are tied. And then after all that is accounted for, the player with the most money wins the game. So that's the basics of Young Jacob Marley. It is really a tight little investment game. It's got a lot of great strategy and very few moving parts. It's actually fairly realistic in terms of how it represents money lending and interest and all of that. And you can print and play your very own copy from Crab Fragment Labs right now. Thanks for watching and learning the rules, and I'll see you at the table.